Oh, it is about that time! It is about that time to watch some Age of Empires 2 in the Age of Empires 2 HD Edition Titans League tournament. And yes, we are in round 5. And yes, we are going to see some Mongolia games. And yes, I am very hyped. I am here today to watch with you the games that we will see. And once again, and for the last time in the normal group straights rounds, let's get rid of the music and awkwardly acquire silence. My microphone is working. My hotkeys are working. And the overlay is just right. Yes, oh yes, the learning curve of this stream is steep, but it is right. And now, with the correct start, I am so happy to announce the first game that will be Ruud Woltering versus Ikyanik. Then we will see Banana Bread versus Laser Raptor. Is there a way to redemption for Banana Bread? And will the Titans really fall? We will have to see. But after that, the real match that will decide a lot of people's fate in this tournament, Be Swift versus Bjorp. Who will emerge victorious? Will Bjorp force a potential 3-way tiebreaker? Or is this the end for our friends? So much interesting games to see today. Well, talking about interesting, first game is of course Ruud Woltering versus Laser Raptor. And well, I think it's going to be a formality, but we will see. I was doing so good with the hype until I got real. Well, that's how it goes, I guess. without any further ado, the game is loaded up, and we will start watching it together. Yes, Mongolia, the map we have been waiting for. The first map that resembles the standard map type the most, which is of course Arabia. Did I misclick the thing? Yes, I misclicked, or didn't it? No, I just misclicked the hotkey. Okay. Good thing I was watching the stream, because I suspected that would be the case. Welcome guys to Mongolia, here with me. The map that, what I was saying, resembles Arabia the most standard competitive map that has been played throughout the Age of Empires pro scene. Without any further ado, on the right side in red, it is Ikionic playing as the Mongols. Yes, he is going for some roleplayer-roni here, playing on the home base grounds, the Mongols on Mongolia. On the left side in blue, it is Ruud Woltering playing as the Koreans. Not too far away from home, and the Koreans and the Mongolians I think they fought against each other. I'm not sure actually. Now, maybe I sound like an idiot now, but I think they did. Nevertheless, we will see how these Koreans fare against the might of Mongolia. Now, Ikionic, of course, won his game versus Laser Raptor last week. Which means that if he wins this one, he secures himself that first place into this group, and he will advance as the first player into the bracket stages, where he will face a fourth player from another group, namely Castle Age. In my on top of my head, I think it was Castle Age. Then we see Ruud Woltering. Ruud Woltering has no chances of leaving this tournament, unfortunately. The adventure stops here today. This is the very last game, and the very last chance for Ruud to show his might and, well, to maybe go down in honor, I guess. And he chose to do that with the Koreans. Now, will Ikionic be gentle with him? We will have to see. We will have to see indeed. This week's map is indeed Mongolia. A very interesting map, of course. All the maps in this tournament are interesting. There's no discussion about that, and they're all interesting for different reasons. Now, Mongolia is interesting for a couple of reasons. One is that it is, I would say, a hybrid between a closed-off map and an open map. And it can really differ from map to map if you're tucked in and if you can consider your spawn safe, yes or no. Now, in this case, both players have a reasonably favorable start, I would say. Ikionic is here. His gold, he has 2 forward goals, but he's 1 in the back, so he should be fine in the beginning, and he has not too much to wall off to get himself a decent chunk of resources without depriving himself of any strength or resources in the beginning of the game. On Ruud Woltering's side, kind of similar. They started off pretty similar in the openness department. Having said that, while he has a very nice gold, oh my god, he's starting to mine gold very early actually. He can easily wall this off if he wants to, if he spots some aggression that Mongolia can possibly put out against him, and the Mongols are very notorious for doing that early on. So that's a very nice opportunity for instantly walling off that gold there. And for the rest, it's pretty nice. It can be definitely better. Sometimes you have insane spawns where you just get shielded off for half your camp, and you only have to place like maybe 10 to 12 tiles worth of walls. But it can also be that you have more of a Arabia-esque spawn. It's very possible in Mongolia, and that's why on a map like Mongolia, we've seen it in the Archipelago map, where scouting early on to scout the situation is very important. Well, it's also very important on Mongolia, maybe somewhat less so than a map like Archipelago, but the map can still really dictate what your playstyle is, and because it can sometimes it can be really confusing where your opponents can reach you. Sometimes you see that tiles like cliffs like this can leave one tile open, and there's just this little sneaky route into your base that you can miss off. Oftentimes in Mongolia, it is the case that people miss out on a tile or two in their wall off, and people can actually sneak sneak up in there here. Udwoltering here also getting trapped in one of those maze-like situations here on Mongolia. And it is very crucial that you scout a bigger portion around your base more than normal to really get a feel of what your surroundings are like. I think the amount that Igionic scouted here is just right. He could have scouted a little bit more because you really want to minimize the amount of work that you have to do to wall this off. And these are some really nice opportunities that could have saved him some time. In Udwoltering's case, not so much. Really, it's scouting a little bit random, so it seems. It's not really looking for his opponent, it's just getting a general feel of the map. And Igionic is already really looking for the resource assignment, as we can see here. Did he find that gold? He did not find the gold. And he will be looking for that, I'm pretty sure. He will see that boar, so he does know a little bit about the situation that Igionic is in right now. And we see a click up to the feudal age for Igionic fairly early on. 23 villagers is somewhat in between a fast castle and some semi-aggressive build. On the other side we see Udwoltering that is somehow 7 villagers behind already. And well, we will have to see. It's not going to click up, I guess. Minute 10, 60 villagers, that is a little bit yikers. And it does seem like he will go down painfully. That is, I can sugarcoat it for you, but I won't. This is not looking good right from the bat. We'll see four gold miners for Igionic, which still indicates some kind of hybrid aggressive style. And we see 2 gold miners for Udwoltering, which is in this case with so many villagers is not indicating much. It's just not good. Udwoltering is doing, however, some neat board techniques. Unfortunately, he did not move his villagers in time, so that's a little bit unfortunate. But we will see an 11-minute feudal age for Igionic. And what will he do in this last game? Will he throw out the memes and just have a little bit of fun, or will he keep on performing and show that he is here to win the entire thing? He is of course undefeated in what is considered the hardest group of the tournament. So that really tells you something about the potential that this player has in this tournament. He is going for an archery range really early on in his feudal age. So will he go archers? He has only built 1 archery range, so not really committing to that aggression. Just it's also a really good counter composition to build a barracks and an archery range. Going single of both gives you the opportunity to go spearmen to counter scout rushes, skirmishes to counter archer pushers. And archers if there are any infantry pushes going on early on. So it really opens you up to be versatile and to react to anything that your opponent is throwing at you if you're not sure what he is doing. And maybe in Igionic's case, he did not find the gold, which is a really crucial thing to watch out for when you're scouting your opponent. The amount of villagers that your enemy is committing to the gold mine can tell you a whole lot about what he is going to do, or at least what he can do. Because even if your opponent is not that good that he knows how much villagers he has to assign to get a certain strategy correct, he simply cannot do certain things. If you see 3 gold miners and he built 2 archery ranges, you know he cannot produce double archers out of that constantly. And he could go double skirmishers, but that is super hard in your economy early on. So also that is a nice case. But we see just the waypoint for the archers of Igionic just in the base of Udwoltering, and he did not get the chance to wall it off. He's making a crucial mistake here by starting the wall off at the back of his base. In a map like Mongolia, never do that. And this is why. You want to start your wall off at the front of your base so that you force these archers to take longer to get into your base. If you don't, they can just walk straight into your base while your villagers are still building. And look how greedy he is. He is going for a marketplace whilst he is being attacked, and he has no units. So that's really greedy play here from Ruud Woltering, and I'm very sure that Ionic will punish him for this. But right off the bat, it looks really dire for our friend here. As I was saying, try to avoid this. Try to avoid starting your Woloffs in the back, because they will be here first. And if you force them to walk right over here, if he's started with these walls over here and wall of this and then this, the archers would have had to walk all the way up here. You could have quickly walled this, walled that, and then by the time they got here you could have also walled this. So you're buying yourself time with the position that you start your wall off. So really try to think about where you start. And you can see this is the pinnacle situation of why you would want to do such a thing. 3 militia for Woltering in an attempt to stop the aggression. And I think Ionic is really happy with this, because it seems that he is in no way, shape or form really planning on committing to any sign of strategy or of aggression rather, but really trying to put some pressure on Woltering and bring him off his balance really early on in the game. And it really seems to work, because he is all over the place. He built a marketplace and the barracks, is building the militia, and Ionic is just completely out-kiting him, so it seems. We'll lose the archer there, but look how much time it will take Ruud Woltering to actually deal with this archer. And all the time that this archer is here, he's not completely safe. Now, did do some other things, but as I said, I think Ionic is completely fine with how this went. I think this was worth the resources, and whilst Ruud Woltering is still on his berries, Ionic has a sea of farms here. Already his economy is on full farm mode. And on a 38 population to 25, it's looking all sunny for our friend Ionic here. On his way to lock in that first spot in this group. Still on 4 gold miners, and is very close to getting the resources he needs to actually get. He actually also and then will cancel the villagers. Wait a minute. Oh, he had to wait on his blacksmith. He could have finished that villager, I suppose, but I thought he thought the blacksmith was done earlier. But so we'll click up at minute 19, considering his build. That's not too shabby. If we look on the other side of the map, we will see that Ruud Woltering is struggling to get to that castle age, and the archers really did the job there. He will now successfully wall off his entire base. We'll probably finish off here with that villager, or did he not scout this correctly? No, he does know that there is an opening here. He does know that. But there are still archers here, so he removed the walls, which was not necessary, because enemies cannot see your walls or your buildings if you did not start building them. As in, your villager did not hit it once, they are invisible to your enemy. They can still spot him with shenanigans by mousing over it with buildings and such, but with the naked eye you cannot see it. So that's something to keep in mind. It wasn't necessary to remove the walls there. I understand why he did it, but it's not necessary. Ionic is, as it seems, looking for some side of forward buildings very soon. Does recognize that the pressure line he has lies very much against the boundaries of Ruud Woltering's base, and there are some. It's pretty random. These villagers are now going to build a barracks here, so some infantry push will go down for Ionic. Is now reaching castle age at minute 22, and it is now that the Mongols really come online, and it is about time that we will see what side of the Mongols Igonic is going to use. Archers are very susceptible to tower damage, and he will feel that right here. They don't really understand the spearmen here though for Igonic. I think that Igonic assumed that because he went archers that his enemy would make some scouts against that, but he has no stables, and also Igonic didn't see any stables, and he did see his base pretty thoroughly. So that's a little bit, well, not necessarily a mistake, but these are resources you would rather invest in something useful, because spearmen are really pretty much useless in this situation. Now his siege workshop will go down, and as it seems, he is still on single town center. So he's really committing the wood to the aggressive side of his plan, and is maybe planning to just take him out sooner rather than later. There the siege workshop will go. He did even upgrade his spearmen. So he's really investing the resources in it. He's pretty set on the fact that he was going to go cavalry. Apparently that is the case. As his scout close to his own base is now probably trying to scout somewhat some more surroundings, and Ruud Woltering's scout has been standing still for a long time. Does know where his enemy is, but I think he understands that fighting in his opponent's base is something that's very far away at this point. And luckily for him, he's now moving back, and he will probably see this a little bit too late. This archer, oh, it's only an archer. I thought it would maybe be siege equipment. Is Igonic already producing anything? No, but he will spot this, so he will know that there is some forward encampment outside of his base. And Igonic is just chilling. He's just taking it slow. Knows who his opponent is. Probably knows that this wouldn't be the hardest game of his life, and is just chilling a bit. Now getting his second town center. So a little bit of a mismatch there in build order, I would say. Putting out that siege workshop right there, and not really making anything with it. It's a bit of a shame. The other way around would have been better. But he's going with another town center just in the middle, well, not even in the middle of the map, just pretty much next to Ruud Woltering's base, and really getting himself that map control early on by just forcing himself on that map. Did not succeed in denying this tower being built for Ruud Woltering, and it's nice for Ruud Woltering that he has access to all his resources despite the pressure. Having said that, he is on 36 population, and we have seen Ruud Woltering struggle against a lot of players in this group, and this is his hardest match yet, I'm afraid. So that is a little bit unfortunate for Ruud Woltering. He did have maybe a fortunate order, because if he'd had to play like against Igonic and Laserraptor in the beginning, like a player like Bjorp, it would have been a bit harder maybe. But we will see how Bjorp will fare just in a little bit here. We will now see Ruud Woltering going double stable, so I guess Igonic has some sort of psychic powers, or just really understands the Korean build that Ruud Woltering is going with here, but double stable is the way that the build of Ruud Woltering will go. And he will be met by Mangonel. So here we see Pikeman Mangonel, very classic composition. Can deal with a lot of things. The Mangonel can deal with the archers, and the pikes can deal with the cavalry that might come to kill the Mangonel. So really neat composition there that's slowly taking form for Igonic, and in no way, shape or form has Ruud Woltering any answer to that at the moment. We will see now a castle age at minute 29 for Ruud Woltering. That's hella late. Can he do something to turn the tides? He is 700 points behind. 700 points behind. But it will be a lot more very fast if he's not going to do something. It will go for a second town center here. So it's really focusing on that economic side and doesn't really seem to realize what is lurking just outside of his base. He does have his scout right here, and he just see that Ionic just building base in the middle of the map. He's even building the houses here. And what I think is strange is that this to me tells that Ionic is not really paying attention. He's just memeing a bit, because if he had any idea behind building it in the middle, he could have used these houses to just wall off the sides of his encampment and really force his opponent to fight him in one direction, which in a case like with Mangonel Pike is something you really want to do. So I don't think Ionic's really thinking about what's going on here. A second barracks will go down to up that pikeman production, and a castle has been built for rewatering here. Has saved up the stone to get that defensive building here. I would really recommend that to get that castle here, because he could have defended this gold, and moreover it would have been on a hill. This is just wait, is this down? Oh, I think it's really hard to see. It's really hard to see. I'm not sure if this is on the hill. I don't think it is, because the center tiles have to be on a hill and two are not. So it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell, but would have liked it here better, is what I'm trying to say. Here the mangonels will go forward, and the castle is ready, but can't really do anything in this position. And as I said, Rewatering doesn't really have any answers to this. It does have double stable, but also went with the town center, so it's really doing a lot at the same time, but not having the economy for it. It doesn't have any resources whatsoever, so can't really react to this. His opponent on the other side is thriving. We do hear a lot of rebuilds there for the farms. And here we see Rewatering in an attempt to defend his base. The knights will come out, but Ionic has an answer to that. Does have the pikemen and will force the knights back. And here you can see that there is really not an answer to this at this point in time. Now what can you do about this? Out-microing your opponent with mangonels is an option. Getting yourself maybe some archers and out-microing your opponent with it could also be a nice idea. And the towers of the Koreans, of course, have that extra range. And in this situation, Rewatering could have gone for some mass towers, maybe to prolong the game. But yeah, it's a little bit awkward, and Rewatering fully realizes in what kind of situation it is. He says, "Make it fast and painless." So he's a little bit sad, maybe already that the game is going this way, but probably not unexpected. Here the battering ram will get that speed up from the units that are in it. And it is now that the real push will go on. A little bit of awkward positioning for the pikemen of Ionic, and really gives Rewatering a chance to retaliate here. That's a little bit oopsie daisies, but Rewatering just then commits all the knights to it. If he just walked away, that would have been a real nice exchange for him there, but now it's just completely in favor of Ionic. He will lose all his mangonels though, so the micro there is a little bit lacking from Ionic too, but it is enough to push him to the place where he wants to be. Now really has to watch out that he won't lose all his pikemen to these mangonels and towers, but now we will see Ionic just going for it and committing all these villagers to build a forward castle in the base of Rewatering. And if this building gets finished, I'm not sure if Rewatering has anything that can actually deal with that castle. We also see Ionic going Imperial Age here at minute 36, so we'll be Imperial Age at a pretty decent time, and Revolting is nowhere near that. So the game is getting out of hand faster and faster, and with this castle done, it's a real problem. Now Revolting will bell his entire village. Oh, he will undo it because that would mean that he denies himself the entire economy. There the Imperial Age will hit, and the castle will go down. That will also be the first castle for Ionic. So let's see what he is going to do with the castle. If he's actually going to get some crucial upgrades that the Mongols have, or just build Mangodai and just be some more annoying. Just will go for traps and probably bring down that castle. And as I said, Revolting doesn't really have anything to deal with this. Doesn't have the economy to deal with this, and just a really slow and solid game for Ionic. Just playing it out without panic. No panic from Ionic. Little bit of a oopsie daisies there for Ionic killing his own battering ram, but again, don't really think he cares too much. I think he's just having a good time. Trebuchet will unpack there very soon, and will start shooting at that castle. And mangonels, despite popular belief, are not really that good against the buildings. Yes, they do a lot of damage, but they always kill it slower than you would expect from a unit that's traditionally used to bring down walls. Ionic's not even attempting to wall off his base because he just knows that this is the pressure line that the map is on, and there is absolutely no way whatsoever that Revolting will even reach his base. Ionic's just really slowly pushing into the base. Here the archers will go down for Revolting, and will he be able to kite them all off? Can he do something against it? It's actually hilarious how Ionic is just wood cutting just in the base of Revolting. The disrespect is out of town on this one. The castle is going down, and there will be no new castle for Revolting because there is no stone that he can mine. And also he has 50 population, and his opponent is nearly tripling him in that. He's trying to just do something with the units that he has here, but there the last units will go, and I think Revolting is just enjoying the last moments participating in this glorious tournament, but will very soon have to resign, and we will have to say goodbye. He says, whoa, that wasn't painless. No, it wasn't. No, it was not at all. Woodcutters in your own base. That's so painful. So Ionic shows no mercy. He says, this is the end, my friend. GG. And goes down with grace. GG, says Ionic. And there it is. Revolting will resign, and Ionic will officially be the first place in this group. There is no way anyone else can reach him. Congratulations to Ionic for getting here. Clean sheet, and he will be the first player to advance to the bracket stage. And next week we won't see anything of this player because there won't be a tiebreaker. Of course, next week will be the tiebreaker round, and we will see him in 2 weeks, where we will see him face off against the 4th place of the Castle Age group, I think it is. And let's all say a big thank you to Revolting for participating in this tournament. Despite having lost all his games, I hope he's had a good time, and he definitely provided some enjoyable games to watch. So thank you, Revolting, and hopefully you'll join another tournament in the future. not really much to write home about. In terms of stats, which lets us go to the next game of today, which will be Banana Bread versus Laser Raptor. Now, this one might maybe be a little bit closer. Of course, Banana Bread lost, not lost, won his hard-fought game against Bjork last week. An amazing game, maybe one of the best games to watch this tournament. So if you haven't watched that one yet, sorry for the spoiler, but still worth watching. Laser Raptor, of course, received his first loss against Yannick last week, and is now looking to really solidify that second place in the group stage, and doesn't really want to fall down all the way to the third. And well, Banana Bread maybe has a chance of doing that. He is practicing a lot. I know that for a fact. Was it enough? We will see together in Banana Bread versus Laser Raptor. Game is loading up. There we hear the sound of a, I think what is a Mayan player trying to build villagers when he's maxed out. Without any further ado, this is the map Mongolia that we will see. On the left side, in red, it is Banana Bread. As the Vikings. The Vikings? Yes, the Vikings. On the right side, in blue, it is Laser Raptor as the Mayans. The Mayans versus the Vikings is the next matchup that we will see. Laser Raptor did indeed not play the Mayans yet, and chose to pick it on this map. And once he scouts his enemy, will be probably happy with what he finds. Yes, this is a interesting spawn for Banana Bread, but never ever do you want your wall-off to be this small. So this is, in terms of wall-offs, pretty useless. If you would wall-off this, you would deny yourself every resource that this map has to offer you. So it's really coming down to walling this side, which is nice, I guess. Really forward, you can wall-off here, I guess. Here, and there. So this perimeter, if you will. That's a little bit, that's a lot of work, but it's the necessary wall-off to take. And that is enough time for Laser Raptor if Banana Bread does not start in time to do the aggression that the Mayans often seek in the early stages of the game. With the archers, of course. Now, I do like the Mayan pick here. Mayans are a common civilization on a map like Mongolia. The Vikings, however, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why he picked the Vikings. There are a lot of civilizations that are nice, and Mongolia, if you really want to go for it, you really can force a late game and get yourself to that post-imperial stage, and really maybe try, because Banana Bread is a red player, so he got to counter pick here. So he could have gone for a Mayan counter pick, and the Vikings are all but that. They are all but that. They are, of course, good on hybrid or C maps. Not particularly not particularly on pure land maps. So that's one. And they are an infantry-focused civilization. And of course, the Mayans are a archer-focused civilization. And infantry is very effective, or archers are very effective versus infantry. So he really counterpicked himself here, and that's a little bit unfortunate. Not only did he counterpick himself in terms of the map, but also in terms of the matchup for his opponent. So that's a mistake that's going to cost Banana Bread something, I'm very sure. But we will see what plans Banana Bread has with this pick. It does seem like he does have something. There's something, because I really there must be some reason why he picked the Vikings on this map, because it is a peculiar pick. It is a peculiar pick. 3 woodcutters. Is that what you're going with here? 3 woodcutters. Or did you forget one? What's going on? And why are you doing sheep and boar at the same time? 2 boars. Well, this one's nearly dead, I guess. Laser Raptor has a pretty awesome spawn. Pretty awesome. Has a completely wall of sight here. And actually, he can just wall off this, and then he has just a quarter of the map for himself. So that's amazing. That's an amazing start. A little bit open here for a map like Mongolia. But overall, not too shabby. He has all his resources nicely within these lines that he can wall off. Where are the walls? Also, so this is exactly what I was talking about actually. It does look like Banana Bread is going to wall off this side. And you really want to avoid that, because if you're going to make your... Yes, he's going to mine this and also wall this off. And what this means, you're playing versus the Mayans. You are going to face archers somewhere in this game. You can bet on that. So if you allow the enemy's archers to stand over here, they can deny all your gold miners. So I'm pretty sure that if he's not walling off any more of the map, that we will see that exact situation. This wall off is just too short. It's really tempting to wall it off here because it looks so logical, but this is a wall off you really want to avoid. Laser Raptor now going for that mining camp while clicking up to Feudal with 23 population. Also a hybrid build order for this man. Banana Bread is 2 villagers behind, well, of course the mines start with 1 more, so technically only 1 in terms of performance, but has not clicked up to the feudal age, however, so will be behind by a small margin. Well, small. I mean, he only has 200, 300 food. So that's a little bit interesting here. And he's already committing to 3 farms while in the Dark Age. That's a lot of wood. That's 180 food. You can build a lot of necessary buildings with that wood. And he's also building houses on the back of his map. So a lot of basic mistakes I see Banana Bread make here that he did not make in the other games. So a little bit, maybe a little bit, what's the word? Intimidated by Laser Raptor, or maybe he's just not paying attention. Here we see Banana Bread trying to annoy Laser Raptor a little bit. That will go for that barracks. And I think that Banana Bread is going to look for any signs of build order from Laser Raptor. Judging from this, he now clicked up, so he's behind a lot. And we see double archery range for Laser Raptor. So a very aggressive but very standard build here for the Mayans. Just a pretty all-in feudal age play there. Because it's really all in the center. It really asks a lot of your economy, and to go for 2 archer ranges is by no means wrong, but it delays your castle age by a lot. So you really need to do a lot of damage with it to make it work. Now he does know that his opponent is still not feudal age, but he now has 2 archer ranges to produce units out of, and I'm sure that has already started. I'm looking at the wrong guy. Yeah, so he's already producing double archers, so he's really just trying to get the damage in while he can. On the other side, we do see Banana Bread walking up here and has the oh no, is he going to lose that villager? Oh my god! That was so close. I thought he was going to lose it. That's a big deal actually. That's a big deal. That can mean night and day. And does Banana Bread know in what kind of awesome spot he is? He does not. He does not. He did not scout this area enough. So if he knew this, he can wall this off. He can wall this off and super easily defend and deny this area for his opponent. on this play. I absolutely love this spot. You can shoot down from here and do the extra damage and really give your opponent a hard time. You should actually wall it off right here, so you can always do the extra damage, not here. If you can do it here, they can stand over here and you deny the extra damage. This is on the same level. Wall it off here, so you can force your opponent to take that extra damage. So I love the positioning, but I don't think that Banana Bread is fully realizing the strength of this play, because he didn't really scout it. He's building his first production building just in the face of his enemy, and is also going double archery range. He did not scout the build of his enemy. He does not know what his enemy is doing, and he's going blind archery, forward archery range. So it's a little bit all or nothing here, because he's also just not walling. He's not walling whatsoever. So he's kind of accepting the fact that might his opponent come into his base with units, then it's just it's simply GG at that point. And Laser Raptor does have that wall off here, so when Banana Bread will finish this army, and it's really coming down to the timing of who will attack who first. But it can lead to some awkward situations, to some very awkward situations. Here we see a gate for Banana Bread, so he's even committing his stone to this wall off at the place you should really not wall, as I said in the beginning. So a little bit of awkward building positioning here and there. It is indeed the YOLO play. It is the YOLO play. Now, having said this, it still doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. Picking the Vikings on Mongolia, going forward archery range, there is no real synergy between any of these picks. So, is it just Banana Bread having some memes in his last game, or what's going on? We do see the archers now moving forward for Laser Raptor, and Banana Bread has no clue. He has absolutely no clue, and he is just finishing up this wall off. But as I said, he just allowed his opponent, he's allowing his opponent to deny all his gold for no reason. So even if the wall off is literally useless, because he can still deny the most important resource in the game right now. A little bit of chaos now in the base for Banana Bread that probably spotted the archers or something. I don't know. It seemed like he reacted to it. And does Laser Raptor now know about this? No, he does not know. He has no idea. So he's just walling off, thinking he is safe. And look, this is exactly what I meant. This is exactly what I meant. I was 90% sure that we were going to see a situation like this. Banana Bread completely allowed Laser Raptor to do this. It was so unnecessary. So now Laser Raptor is going to look for another inn, which there isn't. But you should really just stay here. If he just stays here, there's just not really much that Banana Bread can do, and it's just there's just no gold to be had there for the. Oh, but here, oh no! Now he sees the archers. He has been exposed, so now he will probably hear the he will hear the alert. So now he will probably suspect that there's something going off, and he destroyed his wall. Laser Raptor was sure that he was safe, or to some degree safe enough, and he's going to try to wall it off. Oh, and he will be in time. Ooh, I will be in time. So has that reaction time there to avert a crisis. Has a danger of over chopping here, and here we see it. The archer's just standing there, and a blacksmith actually going down. I thought he would maybe build an archery range to make skirmishers to actually protect his own gold, but that will not be the case. So Banana Bread just now has no gold income, and but does have a lot of enemies in the base, and he will actually come through here. So that's a very interesting situation. That's a very interesting situation indeed, because Banana Bread is just locked into this base. And now the Armada of Archers will return. He does have +1. He has more archers. He does have the uphill advantage though. So Banana should really try to to keep this battle on top of this hill. Here the skirmishers will come out though for Laser Raptor, and they will absolutely annihilate this archer army. He will wait till he walks up to the hill and now start shooting these archers. And well, that's GG. Yeah, Banana Red GG's it. Yeah. That's definitely the case. This is over. A little bit unfortunate because it really didn't have to be. If he walled over here, well, I completely disagree with the pick and the strategy. But if he walled this off here, he could have done more damage to his economy, way more damage. And this game would have taken longer, but that's unfortunately not the case. And that means that Laser Raptor rather will be second in this group. Will lock in at second place and will be the second player to advance to the bracket stage. And that means that Banana Bread's fate is still not decided. We will have to see for the next game, that will be Bjork versus B Swift, what the situation for him will be. Because if Bjork wins that one, it could lead to some very interesting situations. Congratulations to Laser Raptor, and too bad, Banana Bread. Tell me after the stream what you were thinking with this pick, because I really want to know. Not that the pick was the true problem, in my opinion, but it was a little bit odd. Without any further ado, let's move on to the last game already of the Dark Age group at the normal rounds. That will be Bjork versus B Swift, and what a game to end with. Both players have had some decent games, some victories, and definitely some defeats. And they are both looking here to secure themselves a spot into that next stage. If B Swift wins this one, he will be advancing together with Banana Bread. But if he loses, there will be a three-way tie. So then the next week with the tiebreaker round will be very interesting here in this Dark Age group. So the next game will be Bjork versus B Swift. I think two players, just like Banana Bread and Bjork, are to a very similar skill level. Now, we've seen Banana Bread versus B Swift, and that game was an absolute massacre, but that was mainly due to the fact that B Swift whipped out the nasty strats and went with the all-feared Persian douche. Will B Swift go with such a strategy again, or will we see Bjork prevail with a somewhat slower strategy, is what we've seen mostly from this player, or he mostly thrives at. On the right side, in red, it is Bjork playing as the Saracens. In left, in blue, it is B Swift playing as the Huns. The Huns versus the Saracens will be the next game. And right off the bat, look at this. I hope you win, B Swift says. That is some really nice stuff there from B Swift. That's admirable. Because I can cast more games. Yeah, that's true. Well, I hope so too. I would really like that. I love tiebreakers, and a three-way tiebreaker is awesome. And because that will also mean we get another game, Banana Bread versus Bjork. How awesome is that? But look at this spawn for Bjork. Mamma mia. You can wall it off here, you can wall it off there, and then you can just get your wood line over here. So in this way, you do not deny yourself of any resources, and you have a very big chunk of the map. So an amazing map generation for Bjork there. For B Swift, not so much. Not so much. Does have some resources way in the back, so that is nice, but in terms of Mongolia, this is a pretty open map. He is, however, allowed to just wall off these parts and to get himself some free resources. As I said, really pay attention to the wall off, if that really consider if the pressure line that you're putting on for yourself, the maximum pressure line, if that's enough. Last game we've seen that was not the case. If you wall off here, the wall is absolutely useless. But now if you wall it off here, it could actually block something off. Now the Huns, this will be the second time only that we will see the Huns this tournament on a classical Hun map, so we can really understand the pick here for B Swift. And on the other hand, the Saracens, I said it before, I really like the Saracens because they're just such a goofy civilization that really are considered one of the weaker civilization, but they can provide some really funky and interesting to watch strategies and build orders, and that's why I like them so much. It's different, it's new. And does Bjorb have such a strategy? We will have to see. Well, the Saracens are a nice pick versus the Huns, and maybe that's why he actually picked it. Of course, the Saracens do have one of the strongest camels in the game with the zealotry attack. Oh, we see a dead villager there for B Swift. Yikes. He's still ahead there in villager count. Maybe because Bjorb died to a boar too. I don't know. But the extra health that the Saracen camels have does provide for some really nice answers to all the cavalry aggression that the Huns can put on you. And maybe, as I said, that's the reason that Bjorb went with this pick. I do agree with it. I do agree with it. Well, partially. If I fully agree with it, we'll have to see what kind of strat he will pull off here. Because he does realize that if he loses this game, it will be over for him. This is the do or die game for Bjorb. And B Swift still has some leeway, so it's not completely feeling the heat probably. And still has a chance to redeem himself if he gets to lose this game. Now, what kind of strategy will B Swift do? Is how aggressive will he play with these Huns? Overall, the Huns are played pretty aggressively, and the counter to that often is to go very aggressive against the Huns. It's very predictable what they will do. 9 out of 10 times you will see a Hun player go for the cavalry focused composition. And because the Huns cannot build any houses, it takes them just a tad longer to wall it off. And that's a weakness that you can oftentimes really exploit against a Hun player, because he has to build way more palisade walls to actually get himself to complete safety, and that little window can be used to do the damage. And once a Hun player is against the wall, it's really hard for him to really come back from that, because the Huns do not really have a economic bonus, and civilizations without economic bonuses tend to really lack the ability to come back from behind, because of course you cannot go for a stronger economic build. And the Saracens do have a very, very strong late game. They are once that post-imperial age kicks in, they are amazing, because their trade ratios rather are 5% instead of 30%. So your resource gathering is super efficient in terms of matchup. And that is a very nice feat that the Saracens have there. Also, Bjorb will lose a villager to the boar there, so Boar's having a little party at this map at this point in time. B Swift, however, is missing some sheep just next to his base. So a little bit of a oopsie daisy plays here for both players, but I guess that's what makes this game interesting. As I've said before, that is probably why this game is going to be interesting. And it does look like B Swift is going to lose his scout. At a crucial point in the game. Yes, he will lose the scout, and that will mean that B Swift will not know what the strategy of Bjorb will be. Bjorb recognized the situation that his camp is in, and he does know that this amazing wall of is here. The amazing wall of opportunities. Do not really agree with the positioning of his wood line, however. Would have to like to see it over here and just use this as a wall off for as long as you can. A second attempt for a boar pool will be done here for Bjorp. And also another very nice strategy that the Saracens have is of course that their cavalry archers have that extra damage against buildings. It can that can lead to some pretty hilarious situations, because the extra damage from the cavalry archers can really take your opponent off guard, and it means that with a decent amount of arch cav, you can just nearly one-shot palisade walls and just really rush your opponent down with it. And maybe that's something that Bjorp's trying to do here. Although Cav Archer is maybe a little bit risky against the Hunt player, because Knights are really strong against Cavalry Archers. It's really hard to get the value out of the units once you face Cavalry. It takes them ages to kite them down. You really have to spend all that time into micro to preventing all your Cavalry Archers from dying. However, Be Swift is Feudal Age, and Bjorp still didn't click up. And he's also on so many farms already, and he's not even Feudal Age. So that's a lot of resources spent in things you really don't want to spend it on in this stage of the game. And Be Swift does probably know that his opponent is so behind in timing. He does have 24 villagers versus 30, and he did now click up. So he does probably have a small villager advantage. Let me think. That's 6 villagers. It's 25. He does have a small advantage. But the timing window is something that Be Swift can really use if he wants to, but he's not really doing anything. And it's mostly at this stage of the game that we see Be Swift doing some kind of shenaniganry. We have seen him doing Persian douches, tower drops, and what have you. But nothing of that. Last game is going to take a little bit slow. As he said, oh, this is a little bit oopsie. Doesn't he know that he can just wall off that part? Oh, he didn't scout it. That's a little bit unfortunate. He could have just walled off that part and then it would be the same. And he had more ground. So that's why it's so important. That's why I said it's so important to scout correctly on Mongolia. You really need to get yourself the information you need, and to get yourself the understanding of how the map's working out, so that you minimize the amount of tiles you have to defend against your enemy. That's so important on a map like Mongolia. A lot of deer hunters there, and of course with the I was mistaking the Saracens with the Mongols. Mongols have a hunting bonus, of course. Saracens don't. Then the market will go down, and the blacksmith. So that is that's a fast castle there for Bjorp, and the timing is going to be pretty nice. That's probably the reason why he's committing so much villagers on that deer farm, because he really wants to get that timing right. Really wants to get the timing right indeed, and probably has to force drop or something in order to get that correct timing in, and it's really going to pay off, because Be Swift is not really doing anything in terms of aggression. He's not really using that lead, and it's going for a fast castle himself. But I think that Bjorp will be the person that's going to click up faster. He could in fact just force drop these villagers and really get himself that faster timing. Now has the food, so he will go castle age faster, I'm assuming, because does Be Swift have he does not have a blacksmith, and he doesn't have the resources to make the two buildings at the same time. So we do see Bjorp with the 34 villagers. Is he not going to click up? Yeah, he is going to click up, so he will be first. So as was expected, a very close game. Oh, the blacksmith was over there. Oh, that's so close. Oh my god, no, Be Swift will be first. I was mistaken. He will be first, but it's a minor difference. 5 seconds at most. So a very close game here, and we see Bjorp with a 180 point lead. And it is to Bjorp's advantage, because as we've seen from Bjorp, if he gets the chance to build up his economy, he does know how to close out a game in the late game. And we haven't seen any late game games from B Swift whatsoever. B Swift has either crushed his opponent or he got crushed. So is this the time that we will see B Swift on a late game? Is this the climax for the normal rounds that this group deserves? It's looking like it is. What an amazing story that would be. Bjorp starting off 0-2 in this group, and now forcing his opponents to a 3-way tiebreaker. And if he wins this, he's just still in the race for 3rd place, if not 4th. And that would make things so interesting, so juicy. So I'm hoping with the B Swift that Bjorp will win this. There we see a back barracks for B Swift. So again, not really a sign he's interested in too much aggressive stuff early on, no, very early on in the game. Here we see the castle age for Bjorp. So yeah, so it was like 5 to 6 seconds. And now, what will we see? Are these players just going to continue on going full economy? We do see an instant town center there for B Swift, and does not have the resources to go. Wait, where? Yes, oh there. He's going double town center. So economy build there for B Swift. Unfortunately for Bjorp, he did not really manage his resources as well as B Swift does, and cannot go for that double town center. So despite having the similar timings, will be behind on that villager production here. Is still a lot of points ahead though, and I think that it's primarily in scouting. Yes, look at the scouting that Bjorp's done. So much more scouting. So really has a better understanding of what the maps, how the maps panning out, and will make himself an opening here in the front of his base. So that's a little bit unfortunate for him. That's something you really want to make use of. The second town center will go down, and I'm pretty sure that he will also go for triple. So both players going for a very slow economic build, and this is all pointing towards some kind of economic play. It's a little bit of an unfortunate placement there for B Swift. He couldn't place the town center on the hill, so he was forced to build a lumber camp there. But it maybe would have been wiser to then just adjust the placement of a town center to this side. But again, he did not scout it. This would have been an awesome place for a town center with the wall of over here, but he just doesn't know. So B Swift really paying the price for not really scouting enough here. Again, the importance of scouting is shown in this very game. And Bjorp is now, I think, completely walled off too. And he is the Saracens, and the Saracens definitely have that late game advantage here. Would really give that advantage to the Saracens. So in all cases, it's going Bjorp's way. He is kind of. Oh, he is 0. Oh, he has 0 stone, but he committed the stone to the walls. Yes. So he will go. He's still on second town center, and hopefully for him, he can keep up with the villager production a little bit better than his opponent is, and make up for that delay on his town center production that he has there. But it looks like B Swift is neatly producing the villagers he needs to, and there is, after 24 minutes, only one production building on the map. Only two. But still, not too much. Not too many buildings. We see a monastery for Bjorp that will probably go and pick up some relics. He does have a relic within his own base, and he did scout a lot. So I'm thinking, yes, he does know the location of 4 relics. The fifth relic, rather, is a little bit hard to obtain, but we will see about that. Is he going to make a monk? He does have the gold for it, and he also has the resources for his third town center. And in this style of play, he really wants that town center as soon as possible. And we will see Be Swift gaining some points in on his opponent here. And did pick one of the most aggressive civilizations in the game, but it's really just playing it slowly. And I'm curious what his plan really is here. Or is he really match fixing it up and forcing the tiebreaker himself to keep it interesting? We have to wait and see. A house on a rather peculiar spot there for Bjorn would have suggested maybe this weaker palisade wall, or maybe the outer walls to really buy yourself some time once your enemy is bashing in the outer borders of your wall. But he's going for just a house with a nice view just by the cliffs for the richer parts of his civilization. And he is making knights. He is making knights, and the archer ranges are going down for Be Swift. So triple archer range, single stable. So he's really is upping that production. And does Bjorn know about this? No. He did scout a lot, but he is not aware of the go switch. But I mean, your opponent didn't do anything for 28 minutes, so it's about this time that you really have to prepare yourself for some full scale attack. But it's just now that Bjorn is making his third town center, and he's been gaslit for almost 10 minutes, so he's really late on that town center production, and he is only making units out of one stable. So if that continues, he will be so behind. And in a quick pace, his opponent is gaining points on him. That's not looking too good for our friend Bjorn here. I have to say, that's not looking too great. Oh, what's this? He's going for crossbowman. I would have really assumed that he would go masked calf archer here, but it does so appear that he's going for a archer knights strategy, which is something that Bjorn will like to see with his knights. That is a nice thing for Bjorn. Now I'm trying to spot some kind of upgrade selection for both units, but there are no crossbows out for Be Swift, so I can't really spot if he has any damage upgrades. But for Bjorn, didn't go for any armor upgrades on the knights, so they are very susceptible to the crossbow damage now. He does now see the knights that Be Swift has, so Bjorn is now does now know that his opponent is looking for something aggressive. And will this mean that Bjorn will go for some more production for himself? He stopped making knights. He's now making pikes, so he's reacting to that to the units that he sees. But the first battering ram will go down here for Be Swift. So he is going to attempt to attack Bjorn and bring the fight to him. And if Bjorn capable of stopping him, he does have the units for it, I guess. He does have the units for it. Now, Be Swift, however, does have a lot of crossbowmen. He does have. Oh, now we can see, and they have +2 damage, and no armor upgrades for Bjorn. So these knights will get pretty much melted by the amount of crossbows there are. And if he's continuing to just not make units so late in the game, he will really pay the price for that. So time is definitely not on Bjorn's side anymore, and it's really his greed was rewarded in the earlier stages of the game, but is now looking to get punished pretty hard, because this is an army he can currently definitely not deal with. He cannot deal with this at all. He does not know that this is coming. And which side will Be Swift attack? What side will he attack? He will go just here for the front, and what will Bjorp do? Because as I said, he doesn't really have the units for it, and he is not making units. So he is just going with villagers here, and he doesn't also not really have a he does not have a gate. Should really move in with the knights. He has to react now, or this will get out of hand really soon. But he's not reacting now. He's going with the knights. Should really use his window while the crossbowmen are not here. He had all the time in the world to pick off the battering rams before the crossbowmen were there. But he was just I'm not sure what he was doing actually. Will he be able to fend it off? He does not have. He went for the damage upgrade. Oh my god, that's not the upgrade that you want there in this situation. You already do a lot of damage versus the crossbowman. Now the battering rams will go down. And the villager will actually kill that palisade wall, but look at this. No armor upgrades. The knights without armor upgrades are super weak versus maximum damage crossbowmen. And this is looking very bad for Bjorp. And again, his greed is really getting punished here. He will build a castle in his own base on a nice spot that defends a lot of resources. But will it be enough? Because he has not a lot of time, and he is only making this with one villager. And he continues on just making knights. While his opponent is going in there with pikes. And with the armor upgrade for the pikes. So not only has Be Swift the correct units here, but it also went with the correct upgrades. So all the correct choices here for Be Swift. And to be frank, all the wrong answers there from Bjorp. And it seems like the request from Be Swift will not be fulfilled, and it will look like Be Swift is going to close this group out here. Because this is looking very bad. Very bad indeed. Over 1,000 points behind already. And again, just making this castle with one villager, which is really a priority. And there is no other real sign of any plan that Bjorp has to this. Really seems to be caught off guard by this. And here Be Swift will actually move the front line forward to the boundaries of Bjorp's base. And he really needs mangonels or something. He needs some unit to counter the pike crossbowman composition. And he needs to stop going for the full economic build here. Well, he even did stop building villages, so it seems. And he does have a lot of resources. He has so much gold. He has all the resources in the world to actually deal with this, but he's not really doing that, and that's a little bit unfortunate to see, especially when you consider the situation that Bjorp is in, considering the tournament standings. He's now going for some camels and some knights. Camels can be nice against the knights, I guess, but it's really time for him to start dealing with the pressure. But the barracks are just building in front of his base, and his villagers are slowly dying. Somehow this castle got finished, but he doesn't have murder hole, so well now the knights will be attacked. But they have oh, they don't have armor actually. No, he went for the armor, the infantry armor there. And is Bjorp realizing that he really needs the armor upgrades? Yes, he's going for the armor upgrades. Unfortunately, whilst his opponent is just killing absolutely everything within his base, we are now at a very large point difference. An archery range going down. So again, archers are an understandable choice here, but mangonels would be the most effective pick here, especially considering the knights that he has to deal with. The only counter that Be Swift has against these knights. And is this everything that is going to offer? Look at the wall of that Be Swift made there. So denies his opponent the wall off, and unless he gets a +2 upgrade and builds more knights, this is an army he just cannot deal with. Meanwhile, B Swift is just here in his base, and is he still going for a triple town center? Yes, I guess he is. So while his opponent's not really able to make any more villagers, actually losing villagers, B Swift is getting more strength economically by the second, really. Swordsman, pikeman, and knights is a composition that Bjorp is going for here. And I guess B Swift needs gold. And he's now Imperial Age. He will be Imperial Age. So we'll also get access to that +4. Or do they have Palm Bracer? I'm not sure. But they nonetheless have access to a lot of very important upgrades and trebuchets. And well, Bjorp is in no position to dictate where the fight will be. So once these trebuchets will go down, if they will go down, because there's still no castle in this game, then Bjorp has a hard time dealing with that, because he cannot move up to that army with anything. He fought so hard to get his wins, and nearly got one versus Banana Bread. But is this how he will go down? Halberdiers will do an absolutely insane amount of damage versus the crossbowmen. Now he will reach the crossbowmen, but I'm pretty sure he will lose everything. Is this the right time to engage for Bjorp? Was this it? Well, he does decide that this is now or never. He will kill some crossbowmen, but nearly not enough. And look at the army that's just waiting outside of Bjorp's base to get the rest of this and finish him off. And Bjorp will just lose his entire army. And well, I'm sorry to say, but this is very much looking like it's over. Unless B Swift makes some major mistakes, but I'm thinking that he is going to do some sort of castle drop shenanigans over here. It wouldn't be B Swift if he still built some buildings in the base of his enemy. No, wouldn't be so. But he did show this game that he can also play the more classic game with the slow build up to the large army and the push into the base. So that's nice to see that B Swift has more strategies to work with. And is looking for that third place here, because if he wins here, he will indeed be third, and Banana Bread will be fourth. That would be the case. So in that regard, Banana Bread would be very pleased with a win from B Swift here. That will mean that he will advance to the next round. B Swift is Banana Bread's best friend here. A lot of production building, so Bjorp is still believing, and he needs a crazy defense play here in order to turn this game around. I will not tell a lie. That is the situation, and he is just going at it with the gold production here. Bjorp is at 5k gold and Sid at 3.5k, so both players have an insane amount of gold. Actually, insane amounts of resources. Bjorp should really try to do something about it. Now, B Swift is typing some random stuff. Not sure what that's all about. Probably some typos. The army will move in and slowly but steadily destroy more and more of the base of Bjorp. And what did all these villagers do? Oh, were they just looking for gold? Was that what they were doing? Forward University, the all-feared Forward University, and a scout that did indeed now spot the forward camp that B Swift made there. 2 relics for for Be Swift and 1 for Bjorp. Not really relevant at this moment. But there we will see the forward castle for Be Swift. Could have probably even built it here. But there is also final guest right on the hill. Is immediately able to get these trebuchets. And as I said, there is absolutely no way that Bjorp has an answer to that at this point in time. And look at the gold commitment. He has 6k gold in the bank, yet he is committing so many villagers to gold production, while he has so little food. So he should really redesign his economy here in order to get the units out that he needs. And again, he just does not have a siege workshop. And mangonels are just the answer to everything that Be Swift had at this point. So it's so unfortunate to see that Bjorp is now making the army, trying to do everything he can, and he's making so... oh, he does now have a siege workshop. He has 1. But this should frankly be all siege workshops. Go mass mangonel. Maybe not mass mangonel, but at least 5 or 6 to really deal with the squishies there. Once these halberdiers are dead, he has the cavalry to deal with this. But look at this trebuchet place. What in the world can Bjorp do with this? He should really position his halberdiers over here and block that way off in order to defend his trebuchets from anything that Bjorp can throw at him. Will not be the case, and this town center will simply go down without an answer. Now a second castle, and look at that positioning. I really like that from Be Swift. That forces his opponent to attack these archers, and now the mangonels will go in. And here we see why the mangonels are important in this matchup. Look at all the snipes he gets. So really nice play from Be Swift. I really like the decisions he's making here. And a second trebuchet will be thrown into the mix, and this castle is actually a little bit. You should have built 1 tile more forward so that it would be blocked off completely, but it's enough nonetheless. Oopsie daisies for Be Swift. But is it going to matter? Is my question to you. What can Bjorp really do to deal with this? He is now going Imperial Age. So he will have some trebuchets for his own very soon, and he's not interested on giving up. He's just waiting. He's trying to get the right time to really repel and bring this and quench this aggression from his enemy. But again, every second that Be Swift's here in his base, in the second that Be Swift is getting more economy, he is close to 3k ahead. And he's having a very good time. These villagers are just committing suicide. Maybe another base was, another castle was being built somewhere, but that was maybe a little bit too ambitious. Still, just a villager chilling out over there. And now the second town center will be forced to go down. And there is still no mangonel for Bjorp. Look at Mass Halberdier. And look at all the units that Bjorp has that do not really do anything against Halberdiers. Because you see it right here, you can just run away from all the units that Bjorp has. So the town center will go down. So another point of economic growth for Bjorp is tonight. And with the +4, +2 Halberdiers from Be Swift, he actually just kills all these units. Simply kills them all. Bjorp tries to find an angle to fend off, to maybe kill one of the trebuchets, and just now the first mangonel will go in. And now it's very crucial to get the money hits in and to really hit but it will just get one shot by the castle. It's so unfortunate. That's so unfortunate indeed. And there again, the defensive army from Bjorp will just go down, and he will call the GG, and he resigns. And that's how our hero Bjorp will end his journey in this tournament, and with that will lock Be Swift and Banana Bread into that third and fourth place respectively. what a last game. What a nice game where B-Swift shows that he can play that standard style and also really show that he has a basic understanding of how to execute some plays correctly with the positioning of the trebuchets and the mangonel halberdier push there. Really like that. So that's something to keep in mind now that B-Swift is advancing to that bracket stage. Thank you, Bjorp, for participating in the tournament. It was a blast watching you. You have provided some really nice games, and it would have been such a nice redemption story to come back for that double loss in the beginning. But it was unfortunately not to be, and hopefully till next time. Thank you, Bjorp, and we will see B-Swift in the next round. Congratulations to him in what I would call a very deserved third spot in this group. Now, let me look at the timings. Yes, look, there was a 7-second difference in Castle Age, but everything after that point went completely into B-Swift's favor, and B-Swift simply executed this strategy better. Now, look at both players just not making any military units for the first 30 or so minutes of the game, and then B-Swift just turned on the kill switch and Bjorp just didn't react. You can see it here. Once the units were built, he was just making them too late. And the aggressiveness that B-Swift put out was just too effective. And with that, the Dark Age group is has in fact come to an end. And there will be no tiebreakers in this group. It will be Ignonic first, Laserraptor second, B-Swift third, Banana Bread fourth, Bjorp 5th and Ruud Woldring 6th. And with that, we have the first finished group. And after the break, which will be a 15-minute break, 15 to 20 maybe, we will see the closure probably or maybe of the Feudal Age. I say that, but there are a lot of opportunities for ties here. Because if Anouk Milla wins against Deeve, there is another tiebreaker, and of course Lord Size versus Crazy Wizard will be a game for the first place, and Henturio will probably look for another point here in the group and solidify himself as that third place possibly. But that is all for the break. I will see you guys in around 15 to 20 minutes where we will see the awesome Feudal Age. See you in a little bit, guys. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the Feudal Age Group Round 5. And where we will see the conclusion. Who will be victorious and who will be defeated today. This is the Titans League tournament. And if you haven't already done so, please follow this amazing stream as we are closing to the amazing bracket stages of this tournament. Where we'll see some high stakes game where people will just get knocked out over one loss. Yikes. Well, but first, let's see who will be yiked at this very game here. It is Deep versus Nukmilla, and as I said before, there is a lot on the line because the player that wins this game will advance to the next round, and the player that loses will actually be gone. So yeah, that's how it goes. That's just what life is, and that's how the tournament goes. One of these amazing players will leave, and I think they're pretty similar in skill level. So I think we'll have a pretty exciting game on our hands here. Let me just go ahead and load it up. It will be Deep versus Nukmilla, their last chance to stay into this tournament and secure themselves that 4th spot into the group. Ah yes, the Mongolian steppes with cliffs apparently. On the left side, in blue, it is Deep playing as the Mayans. Wait, is my screen? Wait, is my? Yes, no, it did. Yes, it did update to the game. Okay, there's nothing wrong, guys. Don't worry, I got this. On the right side, in red, it is Nukmilla as the Persians playing on Brobert's account, whoever that might be. Brobert has been nice enough to provide us with his account for Nukmilla to play with, and maybe for the last time we do see another Mongolian map style here, and it is indeed the Persians versus the Mayans. A second Mayan pick here for Deep. As I said, the Mayas are a fairly popular civilization on a map like Mongolia because, well, it depends a little bit on the map generation, of course, but generally it does allow you for some effective archer play. Will we see this from Deep too? We have seen him do some aggressive strategies in the tournament. He does not shy away from such things. And look at this map generation for him. Look at this. What an absolute beauty. Just wall off this spot and just, well, maybe just wall off it here and here. And you have just half the map for yourself. Look at this generation. Ay caramba, that's amazing. Now hopefully for Deep he scouts this thoroughly enough to actually come to that conclusion. Nukmilla cannot really complain for herself too, but well, I guess someone has a better generation every time, and this time it is definitely Deep. Collects his sheep, brings them all together, and uses a technique to not really bother too much about multiple sheep deaths here. He moves one sheep next to his villagers, because the villagers, once they finish the sheep, will always look for the closest sheep, and in this way they will just automatically go to this sheep. Yes, there they go. You don't have to worry about killing them killing an additional sheep, and we'll probably see him move another sheep too here to the other side. So that's a nice technique there that allows you to save time on that sheep production and prevents you from here we see it. He moves another sheep to the side of the villagers to really minimize on the sheep killings. 5 lumberjacks for Nukmilla. One more than the classic composition. And it is again a game where 2 players have to decide who is going to stay in this tournament and who is going to leave. Oh no. The stakes are through the roof. And I would really like both players to stay because, well, just nice to watch players that don't really play the game too much really see that learning curve, and every game see the improvements that they make and the lessons that they have learned. And these are two players that have definitely shown some growth into this tournament and are really, in my opinion, deserving of a spot in that bracket stage. But there's only one left. And there's only one spot to be had on the losing side of this group. Of course, we have the legend that is Blueprints. He is unfortunately already locked into that losing spot. But we will see that in the next game, of course. Now you see Deep here going for his first board. Really standard stuff here, and not really any showing of some drushes. We haven't seen any drushes. I realized this the other day. I haven't seen anyone do a Dark Age rush where you just build a barracks and go for the militias. So, no real super aggressive stuff here, but I'm pretty sure we will eventually see it somewhere. I would be surprised if we didn't. Now, the Persians. I wonder why Nugmila went with this. Is she maybe going to douche herself into the next stage? Is that what we're going to see? That would be a little bit unfortunate for our friend Deep here. Or is it just a slower pick? And doesn't Nugmila want to make use of that really strong late game that the Persians offer, where you can just get to that strong economic stage earlier, because your town centers produce villagers faster, and if you have 4 town centers producing villagers faster, you're even faster. So yeah, maybe that's something that Nugmila is aiming for. I sense Deep's definitely looking for some aggressive strategies, judging on the pick and on the style that we've seen from this player. Nugmila is very lucky with a back gold there, and this is actually an amazing gold for Deep, with some nice path here to a seemingly new world, maybe to escape if things go awry. And we do see that Deep is going to make use of that of the little crevices that the ridge has, that the canyons make, and that he's really maximizing the space that he has for his buildings. And that situations where we saw in Banana Bread versus Laser Raptor cannot really occur, where you get denied off of your gold because you just build your wall of way too close to your resources. We will see 2 farms for Nugmila, and it's been very true in this tournament that the player that starts building farms first is the losing player. That's another stat for you there, and that's to no surprise, because if you're putting all these resources in other resources that you can also get for free, essentially, well, your opponent is putting these resources in things to kill you with. So that's a little bit of a problem. And we see a click up there for Deep at the 22 villager mark, and a instant barracks with the feudal timing. And that definitely points towards some sort of push. And considering this is the Mayans, I am probably looking at we are probably looking at an archer push for Deep. Now, does Nugmila realize this? That's the big question, of course. Let's look at her efforts to scout her opponent. Wait, she lost her scout? Oh no. No. And Deep? Hey, did they? No. Oh, that's the scout. Yes, he doesn't have a horse. Of course, he is the mines. So Nugmila does not have the opportunity to even scout the plans that Deep has here, and he is feudal age. I do not see a archery range, however. I do not see archery range. He does have the wood. That's the wood. So maybe I was wrong. Do we see Deep here looking for, trying to be a little bit annoying there, get his opponent off balance. This is a very nice spot there for the villagers to mine. really easily... Wait, there an attempt to kill the scout. Unfortunately not the case. It will mean that Deef still has that opportunity to really see what this game is all about. And still no archery range. So, oh, what is that? Yes, okay, so we will see some sort of archer aggression. Just a little delay there, without reason actually. So, it's a little bit unfortunate because if there's something that's important in a play like this, it's timing. Your timing is everything, and to no surprise, how many times in this tournament already have we seen how crucial the timing of the archer's arrival was when people were just starting their wall off or just getting that upgrade or that resource, or seconds can make the difference between a successful and an unsuccessful archer push. So just unnecessarily delaying your archery buildings is really unfortunate. It should really be avoided at all times. But here we see double archery range. So the second time we will see an all-in archer push strategy in this tournament, and Deef really attempting to take matters into own hands here and goes for the blacksmith, so probably is also picking up that fletching, so really going all out and trying to kill a Nukmilla, and it's just like this is really similar to Laser Raptor, and he's actually playing it quite well, I'd say. So that's really surprising there from Deef, so that he probably did some practice there, but oh, I thought he would also waypoint it into the base of his opponent. That's not necessarily the case, but surely aggressively minded. We see a blacksmith and a barracks for Nukmilla, so she has not really any idea what's going on, and she will not have the answers yet to deal with this aggression. Oh, now we see the stable. So Nukmilla does probably know what the Mayans are generally all about. But is it in time? That's the question I have for you. +1 archers are nearing her base at minute 16. That is a minute or two too late for a very effective archer push. But if Nukmilla is not going to finish this wall off just in time, she will get punished for it. Oh no! Oh no! This was actually, well, there's actually a gap here, but she has a chance to close it off. Is this the question of seconds that I was talking about? It seems like it will be. Now the villager will get attacked, and the chance of this wall off will be denied, and he will walk into that base and will start attacking the villagers. And what will Nukmilla do? She is not creating any... Oh no, she made spearmen. And archers do extra damage against the spearmen. Oh no, that's so unfortunate. She attempts to stop the archers with villagers, but that won't help. And look at the damage. Look at that. Look at the damage that these archers do. That's absolutely pointless. It's plain suicide to do this. And I think that Deef is already very happy with how this archer push is going. Luckily for Nukmilla, she got to wall this off, but there are still big gaps in her base, and now Deef has the opportunity to maybe pick off some villagers and really deal the damage. As we look at the villager count, it is 28-42, so an insane population lead there for Deef. 500 points ahead, and this is very clearly Deef saying, I am not interested in getting knocked out of the group stage. I am very much looking for a spot in that group stage, or in that bracket. I keep saying it wrong. In that bracket stage, and I'm going to take matters into my own hands. More and more archers, so he is really completely committing to this strategy, realizing that his opponent is weaker at this point. Look at the woodcutters here, just completely aggression mode, and Nukmilla let the only place, I think the only space that was open, she left it open, and here her woodcutters will die. She does have a watchtower here on the other side, and she's going for a market, so she's attempting to go for the castle age, but maybe that's just a little bit too greedy. I think I would have rather got myself a archery range and some skirmishers maybe to stop this, because these archers are not going anywhere anytime soon. Even more spearmen show up to the fray, and they will actually absolutely get obliterated by these archers, and Deef is still looking for inns to do as much damage as he can here to the economy. The second wood line will be found, the gold line will be found, so the resources, the crucial resources will be found. Now Nugmila did also use her back gold as a really nice way to trick your opponent into thinking that this is the only gold mining you have. But the casualties are just through the roof here for Nugmila. And what is her answer? Or is this it? Is this how she is going down? We've seen a lot of aggressive attempts from Nugmila in her games, but in this one she does not get the chance to do anything. More archers show up. More archers show up to the fray, and now it seems like Deef is pointing his economy a little bit more towards the food side. And she keeps on making spearmen. That's so unfortunate, because again, spearmen get extra damage from these archers, so that's really an inefficient way, or a useless way in fact, to deal with it, and more villagers will die. The death count is, I would say, around 15 villagers. Way too many. 1,000 points ahead. At minute 21, and Nugmila actually clicked up, so she is probably going to try to get some knights out there to deal with the archers, but this might be a little bit too greedy of a castle age timing, I'm afraid. I think that is just a little bit too greedy, because even if the knights get there and you get enough knights to deal with the archers in your base, and then if you can wall off this side of it, does she even know that this spot is there? If she does know that, then, well, you are so behind. What really are you going to do? You really have to out-macro your opponent then, and we have seen that macro is not really one of the strengths of a Nugmila. Neither that from Deef, to be honest, but in this stage it looks like he is more capable of fending it off. And what we've also seen from him last game against Lord Size is that he is capable of doing some small micro plays, so has a basic understanding of combat execution, and it's looking really dire for our friend Nugmila here. Is this her last game of the tournament? If that's the case, we'll see Castle Age there. I hope not. I hope not. Because if Nugmila loses, that means that my tournament will be 100% male. And in this day and age, that's of course unacceptable. That's unacceptable. I don't want to be a sexist tournament. I want to have a diversity. I want it to be PC. I want to be legitimized by the distribution of male to female, the male to female ratio in this tournament. So I'm very sad to see that that's all going down. Yes, I really do want that. Hashtag everyone's tournament. Spread the word. We do actually see Deef make use here of the fact that there are no murder holes here. Oh, now he just positioned them just a little bit outside. But look at the extra damage, and there was no armor there for the knight. So eventually the knights will die, and well, these are very expensive knights if your economy is so behind. Look at that, 13 to 58. It is curtain call for it is a curtain call for Nugmila, I'm afraid. And the opportunity for Deef to get himself into that bracket stage, into that 4th place. Now Nugmila will wall it off. So too late. she will just resign. She will resign after 26 minutes, no GG, and this is where we will say goodbye to Anouk Mila, and this is where we will congratulate Deef on the 4th spot in the Feudal Age. So that will be our 5th player that will advance to the bracket stage, and there will be no tiebreaker here, probably. No, I think no, there can't be any tiebreaker here. So another decisive match. Congratulations, Deef, and all the best to you, Anouk Mila. Hopefully we will see you another tournament, maybe. And with that, we are already on to the 5th game of this day. That will be Henturio versus Blueprints, and this will be the last game of our very good friend Blueprints. That unfortunately already lost 4 times, has no way of advancing to the bracket stage, but maybe can go down fighting. And of course Henturio is just looking here for his 3rd point and to reclaim his strong position in this group, and maybe and on that 3rd spot. So the game has loaded up. It is Henturio versus Blueprints. Let me get you into that map, and we are here looking at. Oh, what did he? Did he just? He changed his name. Well, whatever. On the right side, in red, it is Blueprints masked as a man named Mike. On the left side, in blue, it is Henturio playing as the Spanish. It is Mike versus Henturio. This is the new name. Maybe there is some sense of redemption, of rebornness in Blueprints, and he decided to take another nickname and to maybe try and conquer his first game. He is in fact 50 points ahead already, so that's nice to see. The Japanese versus the what was it again? The Spanish, yes. So the Spanish, of course, just overall a very strong civilization, and you can get a castle age pretty easily. So tell me, are you vegan? So Mike says, "Are you vegan?" And Henturio says, "Not really." So the adversarial environment is really getting into the room, and a disappointed face from Mike, really not appreciating Henturio slaying all these villagers. And look at Blueprints. Look at the strategies that are shown here. He is sending all his sheep to the side, to the corner of the map, next to the wolf. I'm not sure if this is some sort of twisted reference of any kind, but I'm pretty sure it's just him in an attempt to save his sheep from being killed. And I think this is an attempt for Blueprints to go full vegan in this game. He is now building his first house 3 minutes into the game, and will unlock that possibility to make new villagers. Also, a villager is already wandering off to the other side of the map, and the memes are completely on already. Now look at the disgrace that is Henturio, slaying these sheep, and not even killing them in a nice way, just knocking them on the head with a stick. If there's any way to go, I wouldn't want it to be in that way. And what a nice sight from our friend Blueprints here, that just saves all his sheep from death. And here he is already attempting to save the sheep. And the villager will be spotted. He's trying to mask the villager. No, but Henturio will find the villager. Now will probably slay the villager, and a battle will ensue. And Blueprints will attempt to save his villager, but Henturio will now know that something is going down. But Blueprints is in no way, shape, or form going Feudal Age anytime soon, because he does not have any food whatsoever. There is no food to be had. So what exactly is the plan from Blueprints? In what way will he go down in this game? we all have a very minor understanding of the game that is Age of Empires 2, and it's such a humbling experience to see a man like Blueprints really stretch his legs and show us the strategies that this game has to offer. A one-to-one combat starts, and a villager starts slapping the knees of the horse. Maybe it helps. And the scout will go down while maybe the wife of the scout just watched him die. What a horrible occurrence. And now she will run for her life, but there is a wolf there and there is no loom, and she will just get slapped on the back of the head, and a wolf will eat her. And that's the death of the villager that did absolutely a sweet FA there. And Blueprints is still on one building. What a hero! Can we get some? Can we set some respects in the chat, please, for the hero that is Blueprint, saving all his sheep from the villain that is Henturio. How dare he kill the sheep? Who kills sheep for the food and just not for the other resources it has to offer? Who does that? Now, having said that, Henturio's also not really showing anything of a reaction. Does he know that this is going on? No, he did not even leave the other half of the map, while well, Mike, I suppose, is going everywhere. And is now finishing up his wall off. Should probably move that sheep over, and then denying himself, but more importantly his opponent of any sheep killing. And now his villagers are moving all the way up to this side of the map to do God knows what. And they will face wolves, and he does not have any loom, so that's a little bit unfortunate. 2 wolves will join the fray and slap them. Oh no! And also that will be less. Is that every villager Mike has? No, that is not the case. Run for your life, villager. Nope. Two population. Oh, there's a villager over here, and there is a villager over there. He's not gathering any resources. He has 300 wood in the bank, and he says he loves animals. But it seems like Mike is very successful in finding every single wolf on the map. I guess as a vegan, you just have that sense of where the animals are. And it doesn't really seem like the nature gods are in Mike's favor, despite the veganism, because he's just getting killed. I think the kill count for Henturio is 1, and the wolves is like 4 to 5. So that's a little bit unfortunate. You just... Yeah, the horse is dead. Yeah, that is true. He did do some horse riding, which is still admirable, I guess. But unfortunately, Blueprints is on one villager that is now leading this sheep to the town center. What is he going to do? What will Blueprints do? It's an interesting game, to say the least, and I'm curious to see how this will end. It's he has still 0 food, so no opportunity to make any more villagers. Well, Henturio is just having a good time, probably in an attempt to go feudal age anytime soon. 24 villagers is going for, well, I've said it, the person that's going farms first is mostly the losing player. What is the lonely shepherd going to do? Will he lock himself up with the other sheep and just have a good time, if you know what I mean? Maybe that's what veganism is all about. Really get one, become one with the sheep. Now it's very interesting that, oh, now he's destroying his, because this villager and these sheep are literally the only thing that he can interact with, and still it's going at such an enormously slow pace. Oh, he's destroying and rebuilding the walls, but oh no, oh no, oh, he will not see it. He will not see Sheep Sanctuary. Sheep Sanctuary will be so he will destroy the walls to let that sheep in, and then rebuild the walls, and then do absolutely nothing. He will go for a new palisade wall, make that second wall off possible. And very soon Henturio will come to the conclusion that Blueprints doesn't have any buildings or units or anything whatsoever. For the players just tuning in, welcome, and to the tournament, the Titans League tournament, where we are in the biggest meme game of them all, where we see the god that is Blueprints, a very strict vegan that won't even kill animals in video games and is refusing to do anything whatsoever. Now he's going to do some monk techniques here. And he says he's only got one builder left to protect the sheep, so he's just being forthright about it, not really stopping anything from getting his good fate with the gods. And Jerry's just saying, "What's going on? What's going on, Blueprints?" It's surprising how Interior is just not looking for his opponent, just scouting off. He is walling off a bit. Does not know that there's nothing to wall off to, because there is no one. There is absolutely no one. And I imagine that Blueprints is just getting himself some coffee or something. Vegan coffee. I tried to rescue all the animals, but they killed me. Yes, also Blueprints is realizing the painful irony of his life. That his biggest enemy are the animals in this game, and will that maybe mean that he is going to change his ways? He's just building more walls, so it seems. That's the strategy he's going for. He is only 800 points behind at minute 16, and still Henturio has no clue that this game is in complete meme mode, although he might have his suspicions, and it is maybe now that he's going to look for his opponent. And if you haven't already done so, please follow this stream. I promise you that the games will be a little bit more in depth than this one, but we don't have to complain, because this is Blueprints, and he is an absolute god. And I'm hoping after this game is over that he will promise that he will join the other tournaments that will surely come here for the Titans League, because who doesn't want to play against such a glorious human being? Now, again, Henturio did not see this, so he is maybe a little bit maybe a bit confused about the situation. And yeah, and the Mike is just committing all his wood to these palisade walls, but you can see that the palisade walls are really cheap and don't really cost anything. How many walls can he build? How much time is he going to waste for his opponent? We'll have to see. Is it now that Henturio will find his opponent? Somehow he didn't find him. Somehow he didn't walk into the quote-unquote off base. Now, Henturio did go Feudal Age, but still hasn't found his opponent. Minute 18. Are you going to hit castle this game? I'm afraid not. I'm afraid Blueprints is not hitting much of anything, to be honest with you there. Is a third row of walls coming up? How will Henturio ever find these sheep? I think the damage has been done. Now, Henturio will spot this boar and will confirm that he is in sort of vegan. But oh no! Oh no! Blueprints, you failed your cause. Now, now Henturio will come to the conclusion that there are no villagers. This is Ghost Town. And he will try to look for for some sign of life. And is he now going to spot sheep sanctuary? He will see the palisade walls, and he will walk up here. Yes, he will see a lot of walls, and he will now probably suspect something. Is he going to take a look? No, he's not interested. He's not interested whatsoever. Where did the villager go? Am I blind? But it's so unfortunate these sheep are just walking to their deaths. What an unfortunate turn of events. Still, where's the last villager? Wait, he has 0 villagers. What did I miss? Did he kill his villager? Did I miss that? Did I just miss the last villager? Guys, I'm so sorry. But I guess... Oh, okay, well, I accidentally suicide my last villager, time to destruct all the walls. He killed his own villager. He killed his own villager. I'm actually considering reloading this game and watching that villager die. Let's do that. Let's actually give Blowprince let's give him the stage that he deserves, and let's go to the beginning of this interesting replay. And I mean, who doesn't want to see this all happen? So let's fast forward for the first, and I promise you the last time in this show I will fast forward the replay. But I mean, the climax to this game is just too epic to ignore. So we will now see and fast forward how Blowprince really achieved this enormous feat. And how unfortunate that the sheep that are maybe closest to his base, next to the 4 starting sheep, were not found and will not get saved. That's so unfortunate. That's so unfortunate indeed. Against the epic battle and the most amount of action that we will actually see in this entire game. Here we already see the first villagers getting killed by the arch nemesis of Blowprince. That is, of course, the wolf. And it is here that we will have to wait to see when this death will happen. It's unfortunate that I can just not skip to that epic moment, and what is frankly just the highlight of this stream. Let's be honest. Let's be very honest here. And I think that Henturio has no issue with getting his last point for this group in this way. Here we will see the villager just locking himself up. And it's just 5 more minutes, guys. I'm so hyped to see the literal death of Blowprince, renaming himself Mike. I guess that is just his guru pseudonym for being the vegan god that he is. Now we are slowly nearing the moment that the vegan lord died to apparently something. He's going to build the walls here. Oh, will he die? Will he die this time? We will have to see it. Oh no! There it goes. Oh! Rest in Pepe's. Oh no! Blowprince killing the vegan god himself. And here we see the sheep going to the gutter. And now Blowprince has absolutely no way of doing much of anything, because he does not have any food, and well, he can't make a villager. So yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. Now, what will we see? Will Blowprince resign, or will Henturio have to really kill the town center? Now, Anturio does know about Sheep Sanctuary, or has at least some information that shenaniganry is going on. It's so unfortunate that if you can only control one unit, that you are not capable of keeping that unit alive within walls and with no way for your enemy to kill it whatsoever. I guess that means that it is a correct position in the groups for Blueprints to be in. I think Be Swift wishes to be Blueprints. I think we all do. I mean, being so just in line with Mother Nature and just really one with the Earth, really. We see Henturio going Castle Age at minute 22. Well, Blueprints doesn't really have anything whatsoever. We will see a defensive castle for Henturio that still does not really trust this, despite having 4 times the points. And what is this? It is a university. So what's going on here for Henturio? He will probably build himself some conquistador, and I think they will be very effective versus the town center. They tend to do very well against buildings that don't contain any units. So I think that's after hundreds of hours into this game, I can confirm that conquistador do counter ungarrisoned town centers. And it's really just a wait and see situation here of what the plan of Blueprints is here. Of course, he destroyed all his villagers in order to confuse his opponent into some random strategy, and we now see that Blueprints actually succeeded into mind controlling his opponent and sending the sheep to safety. And can these mind control, the psychic powers, actually get Blueprints to a place where he can actually win the game and make maybe Henturio delete all his units? Now, the unfortunate thing is that these sheep can run to safety, but Blueprints has no way of rebuilding the walls that he has to destroy in order for these sheep to really get to safety. So that is a little bit unfortunate. These sheep are simply doomed, and that's a really unfortunate sight. Yes, they can't get in. No, they can't. Well, they can if he destroys the wall, but again, then all the sheep will be in danger. So this is really a harsh situation for Blueprints to decide what to do. Will he save the 6 sheep, or will he endanger them all for a little bit of more safety? He says GG. And is he going to resign now? Is that what's going to happen? Yes! That's the resignation. What an amazing game. And I'm so glad that I have 18 viewers. Welcome all. I'm very glad that you have to witness this amazing game. The legendary game Henturio versus Blueprints. We've seen it all now. You can really say that there's no Age of Empires game that's strange to you, because you have seen the Sheep Sanctuary right here. And these sheep will probably die very soon. But this means that we will have to say goodbye to Blueprints. Not entirely though, because as I said, there will probably be a community featured game. Very soon I will put out a form which everyone can fill in which you can state what matchup you would like to see, and it could be any matchup from the players that played into the tournament, and so you can sign Blueprints up for one other game. Just one more game of Blueprints against someone else. That form will be very soon. So there is a chance for Blueprints to return to the tournament for just one more game. But for now we say goodbye. Thank you for all the memes, Mike. And hopefully we will see you next tournament. And congratulations to Henturio that has now got his 3rd point, and with that the 3rd spot in this Feudal Age group. Now, if you're just tuning in, welcome all people. Please follow my stream if you haven't already done so. You've just joined at the right time, where we very soon go into the bracket stage games after this week, and then the tiebreaker week, of course, and then the games will get really juicy. Yes, here we see the graph, and you might think to yourself, Enturio, what kind of Dark Age rush did you lay down your opponent? And to that I say nay, it were the wolves that killed all these units. It's so unfortunate, it's so painful. And yes, I agree with Feudal there. It really came down to the execution here for Blueprints. If he'd done that a little bit better, he could have really turned that game around. And that leaves us with the last game of today, which is Lord Sias versus Crazy Old Wizard. That would decide who gets first in this group. Lord Sias or Crazy Wizard. Unfortunately, I have again, and I'm very sorry to say this, very bad news. Lord Sias and Crazy Old Wizard both failed to find the time to play this game, and for that they both have a no-show for this game. There is not a particular player that was at fault here, so both players would receive a loss from that, which means they would go to 1-4 or 4-1 rather. But I thought it wouldn't be right for two players that missed one game to be first place, because both getting a loss wouldn't really have any consequence for them whatsoever, because they then just play another tiebreaker. It is because of this that I decided that the penalty that the players will get will be that they will both move to second and third place, and that Henturio with the 3-2 score, but with playing all the games, will move to the first spot in this group. So that means that Henturio will be first in the Feudal Age group, and that Lord Sias and Crazy Old Wizard will have to play a tiebreaker game next week. So we will see the matchup Lord Sias versus Crazy Old Wizard, but we will just not see it this week. We will see it next week. So that's a fortunate turn of events for Henturio, but in my opinion, the best penalty for the players in this situation. Henturio will be first in the group, and who will be second or third, we will see that next week. So I'm really sorry, guys. That means that it is over for today. I'm really bummed about it. I was really hyped for this game, but that's how it is. I hope this is the last time that I have to disappoint you. I want to thank you all for coming. Again, please do subscribe to this channel, because of course Sunday we will see the Sunday stream with the Castle and Imperial Age Round 5 Mongolia. Some really interesting games, and also some really close situations there. And after that, the amazing tiebreaker week, in which we will already have one tiebreaker game between Lord Sias and Crazy Old Wizard for second place. So thank you all for watching. It was maybe one of the shortest streams, but that's how it goes sometimes. I wish you all a very nice evening, and I will see you all Sunday. Bye bye, guys.
Something's gonna bring the change. Journeys we are meant to take. Something at the edge of space, calling us to fly away. You're gonna break my heart. You're gonna tear it apart. No matter what you do, I'll still be there for you. And when you call my name, I won't be far away. No matter where you go, you'll never be alone. Be alone, be alone. No, you'll never be alone. Be alone, be alone. No, you'll never be alone. Be alone, be alone. No, you'll never be alone. Be alone, be alone. No, you'll You're gonna break my heart. You're gonna tear it apart. No matter what you do, I still